It is an often heard saying that the First World War, which claimed millions of lives, was started by one political assassination. One could argue that the war would have occurred even if someone else had been killed instead of the victim. But on the other hand, the war might not have happened if someone else had been killed instead of that person. At that time, the war was hastened by the killing of the same man in that city. Perhaps, if someone else had been killed, there would have been room for war to break out or not. Regardless of those facts, it is necessary to know what happened in history, even if it is to guess about what did not happen in history. In today's video, we hope to bring you information about the main factor that caused the First World War. Stay with us, this is Daily Quiz. On July 28, 1914, Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia and the First World War began, which was the worst massacre the world had ever seen. For the next 4 years, humans fought each other in a tremendous struggle. There are varying estimates of the number of human lives claimed by the war. All of that means that approximately 16 million people were killed by the war in these 4 years. About 10 million of them were military lives and the rest were civilians. The approximate cause of this unfortunate chain of events was the aforementioned political assassination in Sarajevo, Bosnia-Herzegovina on June 28, 1914, exactly 1 month before the start of the war. Archduke of Austria-Hungary, Franz Ferdinand, the Grand Duke, Crown Prince, was shot dead by a 19-year-old Serb nationalist named Gavrilo Princip. At the same time, his wife, Sophie Shotek, also died. At this time, Bosnia-Herzegovina was ruled by Austria-Hungary. The position of Grand Duke was not the only reason why this double murderer terrorized the Austrian regime. The organization called Serbian Black Hand was suspected of being involved in this murder, and it was said that the organization was supported by Serbian military units. As a result, the Austro-Hungarian rulers believed that Serbian military units were responsible for the murder. During the month between the assassination of Franz Ferdinand and the declaration of war by Austria-Hungary, there was much diplomatic debate between European countries. The fact that Europe was now divided into two main camps made this situation even more complicated. At this time, France, Britain and Russia were in one friendly camp. Germany, Austria-Hungary and Italy were in another friendly camp, and Russia had a traditional friendship with Serbia. The crisis spread beyond these two countries as Austria-Hungary and Serbia sought help from their respective allies in the dispute. Meanwhile, despite being in two opposing alliances, the discussions about war were going on between the royal families of Germany and Russia. The aim of the German effort was to stop Russia from entering the war. The culmination of this chain of diplomatic events was the ultimatum sent by Austria-Hungary to Serbia on July 23, 1914. Henceforth, the risk of war was great and efforts to ameliorate the situation intensified. The chain of events that occurred over the next few days is known in European history as the July Crisis. The announcement contained a number of demands. Among the conditions were the dispersal of Serb nationalist organizations, the arrest of people accused of being involved in the murder, the cessation of the cross-border supply of weapons to anti-Austria-Hungarian groups, and the permission of Austria-Hungarian officials to participate in the investigation of the murder. This last condition was a direct challenge to Serbia's sovereignty. These demands had to be met within 2 days, or Austria-Hungary was declared to declare war on Serbia. The European countries, divided into two rival camps, were looking to resolve their dispute on the one hand, but no one wanted to get involved in a big war over a small country. Therefore, Serbia did not receive as much support from other countries as it had hoped for. For this reason, Serbia decided to agree to the other conditions, except for the condition that the above-mentioned Austro-Hungarian officials should enter Serbia and join the investigation. But this decision did not please Austria-Hungary. In Austria-Hungary as well as in Germany, certain sections did not want to prevent war. Konrad von Hötzendorf, the chief of the army staff, was one of the main people who motivated Emperor Franz Joseph of Austria-Hungary to go to war against Serbia, and the late Archduke was one of the main ones who opposed it and refused to enter into a war. Now, in the absence of the Archduke, Hötzendorf was not a strong voice against war, as he continued to vow the necessity of war. Meanwhile, there was a strong debate in Russia about joining the war or not. On the one hand, one camp said Russia was not ready for a war and suggested to stay away from it. But the pro-war camp said that they should support Serbia or else their image would be tarnished. In 1908, when there was a crisis in Bosnia-Herzegovina, Russia did not have the strength to help its traditional friend, Serbia, and that side thought that if Serbia was abandoned again, it would be branded as a state that would do nothing to protect its friends. When Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia on 28th of July 1914, the chain of events quickly moved towards a conventional war. As a show of support of Serbia, Russia mobilized its forces on July 30th. Thus, the troops on the Austro-Hungarian border were initially prepared. If Russia went to war against Austria-Hungary, Germany would support Austria-Hungary according to its treaty. The Russian army leaders asked Tsar Nicholas II to mobilize the all-Russian army. Accepting German support, Austria-Hungary ignored the Russian threat and decided to continue the war against Serbia. With the mobilization of Russia, Germany also mobilized its forces on August 1st. On the same day, they also proceeded to declare war against Russia. At the same time, German troops were sent to Luxembourg in preparation for the invasion of Belgium on August 2nd. Also knowing that France would come to the aid of Russia, Germany was preparing to attack that country before that. It was against this background that Germany sent an ultimatum to Belgium that German troops should be allowed to pass through Belgium to France. It was August 2nd, but Belgium flatly rejected the request. It was inevitable that Little Belgium would be of utmost importance in this war. According to the treaty signed in 1839, all European powers had agreed to protect Belgium's neutrality. Due to this, the Prussian troops who invaded France in 1870 used the more difficult route through Alsace. But the plan to invade France prepared by the German Empire was to invade the country through Belgium. Germany's hope was to strike France hard before Britain would intervene. Britain was also hesitant about joining the war. One camp in the country said that this crisis should not be interfered with. British opinion was turned by the Belgium invasion. Germany declared war on France on August 3rd and the Belgium on the August 4th. At the same time, Britain also declared war against Germany. A dispute between Austria-Hungary and Serbia was rapidly moving towards a continental war. It was going to turn into a world war in the future.